This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam.
You came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
What's up, music lovers? Andy Wood here with my man Jay Scott and the Hook Rocks, and it's good to be here.
Welcome back. It's Jay Scott. It's the Hook Rocks. Thanks for tuning in once again. I appreciate you stopping by and listening to what I got to yap about. And as I always mention, we're part of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a great network of music-related podcasts. You can check out a lot of my friends on that platform, such as Mac on the Ugly American Werewolf in London podcast, Tom and Zeus on the #1 rated Kiss podcast, Shout Out Loudcast, Martin Popoff, the rock historian, Mistress Carrie, the legendary DJ from Boston, Vinny Appice and Carmen Apice on the Hangin' and Bangin' podcast, as well as many others. So please tune in, check out all those and more. Great stuff to talk about, great shows on that platform, something for everyone's musical taste. And don't forget to find them on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pantheon Pods, and their website, pantheonpodcast.com. Don't forget to check out the Hook Rocks wherever you podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. We're available on all platforms, and please set your download to automatic download so you get the latest and greatest episode right to your phone, and you get to enjoy all the previous episodes we've had. We've been doing this now for over 3 years. We've got over 400 episodes, so there's a lot for you to check out, and hope you enjoy as well. Also, we have a presence on social media, our Twitter page, Instagram, and Facebook. Search up The Hook Rocks. And don't forget to check out some great previous episodes that we've done. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary with Stephen Piercy from Rat. We talked with the Groove Council on our 400th episode, as well as some great new music spotlights with The Warning, with Clay Dieters from The Issue, and many others. So check out all that. I always like talking with new bands, because that's really where the future of rock music is. I know August was kind of a slow month for us. We needed a bit of a break. We went on some vacations. We did some relaxing. So we're back in full force here in September. So please check out all the episodes that I just mentioned, plus many more. And we have a great new music spotlight on tap here to begin the month of September. And it's a Chicago band that I've been aware of for a while, and it's really making a name for themselves in the Chicagoland area with new original rock music. And I'd like to welcome in vocalist Jennifer Benson to the Hook Rocks New Music Spotlight. What's happening, Jennifer? How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like I said, previous to us getting on this chat, thanks a lot for doing this. As I mentioned, I always like to spotlight new bands, and glad to have you on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we always start the same way every time we do, or every time we have a first-time guest, and it's the same first question that we ask our first-timers. Just like every rock song has a hook that sucks you in, every rock fan has a moment, whether it's a song, an album, a band, or performance that hooked them on rock and roll. What was it for you?
I would definitely have to say All Around Me by Flyleaf. That's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
Really? And when you discovered that, was it the music? Was it the lyrics? What was it about it?
I think it was everything. I love the music. I love Lacey's voice. I love that it was, of course, female led, so that I related to it that way, but just the way the lyrics and the melody came together, and along with the like vibe and the guitars and everything together, I just love it.
How important is that for you yourself? Because you're only speaking about you, and I'm sure a lot of female performers feel the same way. But when you hear a female fronted rock band, what is that like? I mean, how is that connection made with you as someone who's young and, absorbing everything and all of a sudden finds themselves into rock and roll?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always inspired, obviously, by, the different female-led rock bands like Evanescence, Flyleaf, Hailstorm, in this moment, Spirit Box, Ginger. I just listen to them, and it drives me to keep pushing, because if they can do it, I know I can do it. And it just excites me to see, the females in this world doing what they love to do, and, and just doing it in this genre that I love, which is rock. So it's very inspiring to me.
When you think back of your influence and you think back of that moment with that song, where did it go from there for you? Was there a sudden urge, or was there immediate urge, I should say, to perform, to write? Where did it go after that initial moment?
Well, before that, I always loved to perform and loved to write, but I think it pushed me even more, just to hear that music and just the melodies that helped me want to create more songs, and to push myself to create better songs, and just keep going and going with that. And originally, I used to write a little bit more softer songs, but then I started getting into Ginger and being inspired by her, and just that the harder, edgier sound and the 8-string guitar. And then originally I would just with the drums, I just kind of liked the basic beat, but over time it kind of evolved, and I started to love double bass, and just thinking about how I could, and the band could together, create a sound that's more edgier with still that melodic, melody to it, and how that would sound, and how we could try to, use those influences, but create something different that's more unique to Ignescent and to our sound. But it definitely, every time I hear that, hear someone like that, or a band, it pushes me to want to do more, and just push the edge in a little bit more each time. So
what is it about the edginess that you mentioned in rock music? It's a little different than blues based. It's got a little bit more of a metal edge to it. Yeah. Why, or how, what is it about that sound, or those melodies that connect with you above all else from other parts of rock and roll?
Yeah. It just kind of transports me to another place, and it just gets my gets my blood flowing. I love the way that rock makes me feel, and I love to perform it. Like pop is cool, whatever, but I don't know, to me it kind of bores me a little bit. It all sounds the same, and it's just not fun to perform. And I just love getting on stage. I love hearing the guitars and performing with the band, and and headbanging and just like going all out and just having fun. It's just something about it that just gives me energy and makes me feel alive. So that's why I love rock.
Was there a performance that you saw as you were evolving into rock music that really set you on your path in performance? Because there's the fact that you listen, you hear a song and you connect with it, but then there's actually seeing it live. Mm-hmm. And seeing the synergy with the crowd and seeing the performance. Was there a moment for you that like really solidified what you wanted to do with this band and your journey into rock music?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a ton of bands, but one that I saw live, and it's not female led, but still they have an amazing stage presence and an amazing live show. And the band Red, for me, like, it's just incredible. Like, they have so much energy on stage, and the scenery that they have, like, in the background too, was just so cool. Like, kind of dark and mysterious, and that really inspired me too. So yeah, I would say Red. Skillet I love too, because they have so much energy on stage. They're just incredible. So yeah, I would definitely say those two bands, but also and maybe we haven't done it as much, but in the future I do want to do more theatrical things, like Marilyn Manson does, or Alice Cooper, just the things that they do on stage. It's just such a cool performance, and I just love that and the energy. So
when you think about your writing music, you mentioned that you wrote some softer stuff and you kind of evolved into what you're doing now. Mm-hmm. And I know the band really does try to capture a message to its fans with, songs about depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
When you started to write, was that just a natural thing to write about, or was that something that you were able to open yourself up to that as you grew as a lyricist?
No, that was just natural, and what I wanted to do from the beginning. I wanted to give people an encouraging message through our music and through the lyrics and through our songs. I wanted to give them hope in this crazy world that we live in this hopeless world sometimes that we live in. And, a lot of people feel they struggle with anxiety like I do. They struggle with depression. They feel alone. They've been hurt by so many people. So not just the music, but the message in the songs. I want people to know that they're, loved and they're not alone. And that's just something that kind of came natural because I've struggled with so many things and I've been hurt by so many people, that it's just something that kind of flows out of me. And it's my heart to want to help others and encourage others. So.
When you're writing, is it, obviously with what we're talking about, some of it is personal.
Yeah.
And you write about personal experience. Is that your main style of writing lyrics, is personal experience? Do you gather other things from observation? Is there ever a story that you want to tell, or is it always kind of evolve around what you've been made to feel and what you are feeling?
Yeah, I think every song that I've written has been evolved around something I've experienced or something I've felt. Something that someone has, done to me, or, every song has come from that. Like, I have a hard time just pretending, like taking this story that hasn't happened to me and just kind of writing about it. It just doesn't flow from my heart that way. It's really hard for me to do that. So yeah, I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, literally every song has been through, an experience that I've had or what I've been feeling or going through. So.
How difficult is it for you to capture an emotion about something that's uncomfortable?
I It's not really hard for me. I don't know. I've always been someone who can, like, it's kind of therapy to me to, to write about these things, because it's kind of a release of emotions. And so for me, it doesn't feel hard to do that. It just feels kind of a natural thing to do, just to, write lyrics, write melodies through what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling. And like I said, it's kind of therapy. I feel better after kind of getting that out and letting that go and letting those emotions go. So
having that outlet has to be very important to you, on an everyday basis. I think we all deal with anxiety. Certain levels are, certain people have certain levels that are lower, and obviously everyone deals with it differently. And depression's a really important subject, especially over the last few years.
Yeah.
Where, COVID came into our lives and we were locked down, and we are social beings, right? We need to interact with each other, and things were limited in scope of what we were able to do. And it affected a lot of us. I know I was affected. It affected members of my family. And, when you are trying to get through it, certain days are easier than other days. And to talk with someone, but in your case, have an outlet to express yourself, what you're feeling, had to be very important for you over the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of where like Remnant and all the songs on the Ascension EP came from. Because Remnant is a small quantity of something that's remaining after a tragedy. And obviously that was a huge tragedy that the whole world went through. So as far as Remnant, I just wanted to be like, we're not quitting. We're here to stay. We are the remnant. There is hope, no matter what we all go through, don't give up, because there is hope. And so that's kind of what that song is about, or that's what that song is about. But yeah, it definitely helped to write, and then, me and the band would write together too, and, just get some songs recorded and all that. So that definitely was a great help through that time.
Yeah, that was just something that no one ever dealt with before. No one really knew how to handle. We're still dealing with it in some fashion or, in some way. Right. But, for you, writing and expressing yourself and really putting yourself out there, the band putting themselves out there as kind of being this leader of a message about things and emotions that a lot of people deal with. Mm-hmm. Is there ever a point where when you're writing about something and you're reliving something that you can't at that moment, and you have to put it down? And, you talked about therapy, and, sometimes writing stuff down helps you figure things out, helps you tell a story about it. But also, too, as you're writing, sometimes there can be an overwhelming sense of emotion that you're not ready to kind of dive into this at this moment. Does that happen to you at all?
Yeah, sometimes it does. And I'm like, okay, I can't deal with it right now. I just need to go watch some TV and veg out, you know what I mean? And just take a little break, because it is hard. You can't always feel that 24/7. You'd be exhausted. You know what I mean? Sometimes, or I can't do it 24/7. I need distraction, like we all do. We need to have fun and just be distracted sometimes. But so, yeah, there is times I'm like, yeah, I can't do it today, or I can't do it in this moment. I'm going to take, a few hour break. I'm going to eat some pizza, watch some TV, and then I'll come back a little bit later and do that.
There you go. In Chicago, eating pizza is a very frequent thing when you're down on your luck. It's probably some of the most ultimate comfort food.
It's bad, but it's good at the same time.
Yeah. On the other side of the question is writing something, putting a song together, and then playing it and then stepping back from it for a while and hearing it later, is there ever a different perspective that you have after writing a song that may be a couple or years old or a few years old, that maybe thinking about that situation and knowing what went into it as you keep removing yourself farther and farther away from it just because of time, that you either revisit that subject in another song or you think differently about the experience?
Yeah, definitely. I always think that's the way it should have been because that's how I was feeling in the moment. But I mean, of course, then a few years later that I see it differently, or I've grown from that, or everything has changed. So I think, things are just different. So yeah, definitely I would say so. But I always feel like it was the right thing to say in that moment and in that time.
When you think of the band and you think of the growth of Ignescent over the past few years and being part of the Chicago scene, being a female-fronted band, when you think of where you started, where you are now, where is the evolution of the band? How have you guys evolved, and that's different than when you first started?
When we first started, it was like the music was definitely softer, maybe a little bit more like poppier, and over time things evolved, just with influences from the band members, and just their influences. And then over time, like my tastes have changed too. And also like with COVID, I don't know, it was just like the mood of everyone. It was just, kind of like chaotic and crazy. And I feel like people were sad, depressed, angry, and it didn't seem like a time where you would want to create, or I would want to create something that's just kind of mellow. So I feel like that in itself kind of changed the band's direction, because I wanted to create something more like harder and edgier, just to get that emotion of what was going on through COVID out. And so I'm like, I just want to write something that has like, a lot of power, but like 8-string guitar and just that edginess. And so that's what we did. We wrote everything on an 8-string through the Ascension EP, everything but the ballad. But and I think it's the hardest songs and like hardest sounding songs that we've ever done with Ignescent. And someone said it sounded like Korn. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I can see that. A female led Korn. But yeah, so yeah, just over time it keeps getting harder and edgier, and I don't know what's going to come next, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
As far as the band goes and its place in the emerging rock scene, over this past dozen plus years, half a dozen, I should say, plus years, there really has been a movement of rock bands, from bands like yourself to blues-based bands and whatnot. The frustration, though, with the current rock scene is something that is a topic commonly talked about, right? Everybody's talking about, what's going on in rock. Why isn't rock mainstream?
Yeah.
And I used to think all these things, right? I used to think like, man, that needs to have more of a presence, needs to do all this stuff. But when you think about it, and I had this conversation with Nick Reese of Joyous Wolf after a show, and he really changed my perspective, because it's from his point of view, who's doing it and living the grind.
Yeah.
He's like, rock and roll, rock music is where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be underground. It's supposed to be, where it's not for everyone. It's not supposed to be mainstream. It's not supposed to be on the charts. It's not supposed to be all over the place, because when it becomes that, we lose it. It becomes corporate. It becomes owned by the record labels, owned by the media companies, all that kind of stuff. And we lose whatever expression and whatever freedom we have to make our music when it does become mainstream. And it was such an interesting and beautiful way to put it, because we get so wrapped up in wanting our rock music, wanting our metal music to be popular and to everyone to just be, full of the magic and everything. But when you look at what pop music has become, pop music never used to sound like this when I was younger. It used to actually have instruments being played.
Yeah.
This idea, this desire to have hard rock and metal at the forefront, I think can be short-sighted, because with that, you, the artists and the bands, lose a lot of what you have built up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I've never heard it said that way, but I would totally agree with that. And when you look at, I definitely see what you're saying, but when you look at, like, we were at Incarceration Fest and like Rock Fest and all these fests, and you see, like, there's like a ton. I mean, it was wall to wall people. It was just nuts. It's like, even though it may not be at the forefront, of media and online and all that, and maybe, well, not even the radio stations, but, people obviously still love it because people are going, they're going to these fests, these rock fests, and there's tons of people, and it's, it's definitely not going away, because I see all ages too. I see older and younger and teenagers, kids at these fests. And so I think it speaks to everyone, and everyone, people are still, still in love with rock. And I think it's here to stay, honestly.
Yeah. I think, because everything's about the algorithm now, right?
Yeah.
Everything is in the algorithm and what's hitting this. But I think rock and metal fans really are missed by the algorithm, because I don't think we find our music from the traditional places.
Yeah.
And I think there's a whole slew of people that are out there listening to music like Ignescent and other bands and enjoying it and going to these festivals and going to these shows. And they're not getting picked up by the streaming algorithms and all that stuff. Because that's the only thing I can think of, is because I too go to a lot of shows and I see the people at the shows. And sure, some shows are not as populated as others.
Right.
But that's always happened. Yeah. But I feel like we're not part of that algorithm that everybody keeps perpetuating over and over again. And I think that's a great thing, right? Because it truly does give it that underground sense.
True. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
As far as being female fronted and having the influences that you have, and that the bands that you mentioned, as time has moved on and music has evolved, back when I was listening to music, there was probably a handful of female-led bands and artists that were rock and metal. And now, it's everywhere, which is beautiful. It's great, because I think the stigma of a female fronted band, whatever it was, that was softer, it was, whatever people thought of, I think that's been those walls have been broken down, or torn down. And I think with every new successful young female fronted band, it opens the doors up for the next female fronted band. And it just keeps being this domino effect. And it's great for young women who are growing up to have a connection with that. Do you ever think about how that's really kind of bigger than you and bigger than these bands that you mentioned that you're influenced by?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And it's been cool, like, to have some, younger girls and teenagers come up after the shows and talk to me and just say, you've influenced my life, and thank you, for the message in your songs, and thank you for that, that sort of thing. So yeah, I definitely think about that, and that excites me that I can be part of that, of influencing these these younger girls. And I know I've been influenced by a ton of women like Amy Lee, Flyleaf, Hailstorm, all those people. And so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, because there is a sense of purpose with that, I believe, because it was not there for the longest time, and it was there, but it just wasn't as prevalent. Mm-hmm. And you think of bands like yourself and bands like The Warning and Hailstorm and Evanescence that are really knocking down a lot of doors. It's exciting. It really is, because I think it really is a true representation of who the rock fan is.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as getting back to that message that we talked about, mm-hmm. With anxiety and depression, was that something that was natural for the band to pursue in terms of the subject matter of lyrics and song? Was there a decision to move forward with that, or was it just something that was very personal to you? It meant the message was very important to get that out. How did that evolve within the band?
Yeah, I think it was just something that kind of flowed out of my songs. And then I know Ian, who's the bass player in Ignescent, he struggles too. And so it kind of was just a natural thing that evolved because of what we've all gone through in life. And so it just kind of naturally evolved through the songwriting and through talking with each other and hanging out with each other, and just kind of made sense.
Performing these songs, with what you're writing about and what you're doing, mm-hmm. is there ever a challenge with that? Is that something that, some nights are easier than others, or is it more about what you're giving to the audience and how they're listening, how they're absorbing it?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely about, what we're giving to the audience, and it's also a release. Like Ian's always like, who's the bass player that I mentioned earlier, he's like, this just, I'm going to just give it my all, and I'm going to use this just to let all my emotions go. It's kind of like a release. And if you're having a good day, bad day, whatever it may be, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely a release to just get all that out. And so I would say the only time it's challenging is if we have a lot of shows in a row and we're kind of tired, to get that energy going. That's just normal. But we try to give it our all at every show as much as we can. So,
has music saved you in terms of the outlet that it provides for you?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it saved me, but it's definitely helped me and been very therapeutic, and given me a purpose to help others in life and encourage them. So,
because it can be pretty heavy, and I can just think of outlets that I have, and for me personally, that I use when I know I'm feeling a bit down or whatnot, and you rely on those things, right? And you because sometimes, the world can be overwhelming, and right. Knowing that you have something that gives you perspective and gives you the ability to get emotions out, whether it's performing or writing, mm-hmm. Is really important. And anyone who's listening, I encourage you, if you haven't found an outlet, to find one, whatever that is. Obviously, hopefully it's not destructive,
right?
But find that outlet that is a positive thing for you to help you get through those moments. Because as we talked about in the beginning of this conversation, the last few years have been tough for a lot of people. And, now that we're kind of coming out of things and getting our lives back to somewhat normalcy, mm-hmm. Have you noticed a shift in what you're writing about? Have you noticed different things or different emotions that are coming up for you that you're writing about or wanting to write about?
Yeah, I mean, we started writing a song recently, and it was It's not finished or anything, or not recorded, but the lyrics are "You're not alone." So like that, because I know people felt lonely during that time. I mean, like you said, people were meant to be together, and we were in our houses, like, like separated. It was just so weird. Just not a good thing, not a good feeling. Just that message of "You're not alone" just kept ringing in my head. And so that's a song that I want to get out there at some point. And just, titled "You're Not Alone," and just talking about that and the feelings of what we all went through during COVID. So
when you think about that time of going through all that, it sounds to me like you're a person that the more experiences that you have, the more you can write about. Mm-hmm. And when you're not experiencing things, it can be a challenge. Was there a challenge of creativity for you during these past couple of years?
No, because I've experienced a lot. It's been my life has been kind of crazy these past 2 years and even the last few months. So it seems like I always have enough to write about, which I'm not sure if it's always a good thing, but it's good for music. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely not a challenge.
When you have, again, when you have these experiences and you say you've experienced a lot, are there things that you dive into that have been unsettled within you for a long time, or are most of them recent experiences that you draw upon?
A lot of them are recent. Sometimes there's something that's unsettled that comes back up, but usually it's something that's happening like in the moment or just, in the last few months or so.
As you move forward, as the band moves forward into the end of 2022 and 2023, I know you have a tour coming up here that goes till mid or end of September. Yeah. What's next for you guys after that tour?
After the tour, we probably will be recording another song. We definitely will be releasing a new song, hopefully by the end of September. We just wrote a song with Jeremy Valentine and Brandon Wolf of the band New Year's Day. And we're just waiting to get that back and finalized and everything. We just did a music video for that. So we're waiting to get that back. But as soon as we get all that back, we're going to be releasing that. So hopefully, when we get back from the tour, we'll be releasing that. And then we have a tour with the band Messer in October. So we'll be going to, I think it's Indiana, Missouri, Texas, kind of all over in October. And then we'll just continue to write more music and record more. So,
is everything singles based for you guys? Is there, physical copies of an album, EP? What is the process for Ignescent?
Well, yeah, we did release the EP. I think it was like a 4-song EP, but now we're planning on releasing like a single a month or a single every 6 weeks. That's the plan. So mainly just like a single a month. And then we do have like the actual CDs at shows that we sell. But you basically would have to come to a show to actually get a CD. There might be a physical copy online on Amazon Music. I have to check that. But right now they're like downloadable on iTunes, or you can listen to Remnant by Ignescent on Spotify, and the whole Ascension EP on Spotify. You can download it on Amazon Music. And then if you check out like our Ignescent music Instagram page, there's a link on there. It's a link tree. You can click on that. And then it has all our music there. It has a merch store too. So you can get some merch online if you're not at a show, or else we do have some new merch too. If you come to a show, that'd be great. We have these cool like bottle opener dog tags, and it says "Ignite Our Hearts" on one side, and then it has our logo and picture on the other side. So those are new. We have t-shirts and then actual CDs that we will sign and posters that we will sign at the show. So that's definitely a perk if you want to come to the show.
Are there any Chicago dates lined up? I'm speaking selfishly for myself.
Yeah, there are. We will be playing, I think it's Sunday, September 18th, whatever that Sunday is. I'm pretty sure it's September 18th at it's a suicide awareness show. It's on the website. If you go to ignescentmusic.com, it's on there. And it's at, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember. It's in downtown Chicago. I can't remember the name of the venue right now, but it's on the website.
Okay.
But yeah, it's hosted by Larry Phillips, and it's a suicide awareness show. And yeah, September 18th. So we will be playing there. It's like an all day fest. I think it starts at 2:00. And in the city. So we'll be doing that one. I think that's our only Chicago show. Yeah. In September, but check that out. We'll be posting more about that soon.
As far as the new music goes and creating, has the creative process with Ignescent evolved and changed as you guys have been moving forward?
Yeah, a little bit. I think when we started, we just kind of all wrote together in a room and kind of jammed and, kind of saw what we could come up with. And now a lot of times we will send ideas back and forth online, or, maybe Nate will have a guitar part and then I'll write to it, or, or I'll have a melody and I'll send it and they'll write to it. And we go back and forth that way. And, sometimes we'll co-write with different people as well. We just co-wrote a song with this band called Disciple too. And so, sometimes we do that too. So.
How is the community in Chicago for new music? I know there's always a bunch of cover bands and tribute bands all over the place, but how is the community for new original music?
It's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of cover bands. We just played in Johnsburg, Illinois at a fest called Moose Fest. So, we played at Subterranean. I think it was a few months ago. So that's a cool spot. In Rock House 2, West Dundee. So yeah, there's a lot of cool venues, definitely. But yeah, the cover band scene definitely is prominent, I would say. But,
oh yeah. No, I back in the day lived with a original rock band in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And the scene was much more vibrant back then. There was rivalries with bands and stuff, but there were a lot of places to play, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden cover bands became the thing.
Yeah.
And, I would rather go see an all original rock band. If I'm going to go out on a Friday and Saturday night. Rather than a band playing songs that aren't theirs and it doesn't sound as good as the originals anyway. So.
Right. Yeah, no, me too. Thankfully, there's still a ton of places that we could play. And then obviously we go all over different states too. So thankfully it's still.
It's interesting too, how some states really do have a vibrant original rock scene, like Wisconsin. I know bands that do very well in Wisconsin. I know bands that do good, in the Kentucky area, in Arkansas, and Oklahoma is another one. Minnesota is another one. Detroit. So there are still very strong areas that support original rock. And that's always good to see too. Usually have a very good independent rock station. We have a couple here in Chicago that do play, that don't really worry about the algorithm on what to play. Getting back to that, but yeah, it's nice when you do see an original rock band and you see support from a station and you see people come out and really do support original music.
Yeah, definitely. And we were fortunate enough that Will Rock was playing our song Remnant, and it hit top 50 on Active Rock Billboard charts. So that was cool. And we got to play the Will Rock show with Royal Bliss I think it was in June in Antioch. And that was just awesome. So it was nice to have that support and do a show like that. That was really, really cool. So we've had a lot of cool opportunities. But you're right. We did a fest in Minnesota and they love original rock. That was so much fun. It was fun to hang out with those people in the fans after, they're a lot of cool, really cool people. And we'll be playing in Arkansas in September too. So I'm excited to kind of see how the scene is out there. That'll be cool. And definitely Wisconsin. Every time we're at like the back bar or certain venues in Wisconsin, they're just so loyal there. I love people in Wisconsin. They're so much fun. And the fans there are awesome.
Yeah. Well, the other great thing about Wisconsin, you're always within 5 minutes of cheese and beer.
Yes.
So no matter where you're at. No, I try to get up to Wisconsin. Obviously, there's some really cool small venues in Madison and Milwaukee. So there's always some really cool places to play and see live music. But it really is. And again, part of the motivation of the New Music Spotlight is to shine a light on original rock music. And I know 95 Will Rock does a tremendous job doing that. And they're really the only rock station in Chicago that plays not just the new rock that everybody knows, but plays, bands like Ignescent and other bands that are trying to make a name for themselves and, embracing the grind of what it is to be a rock band. So it's nice to see when there's a station like that. I wish there were more, but they do a wonderful job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely thankful for that.
So you got this tour a couple different tours coming up. You got some stuff. And then, so when can we expect a new single and new music?
We're working on new music now. We are waiting for the release date, but I'm going to say hopefully September 28th, it'll be out, the next song. I mean, I'm guessing, I don't have the exact date, but I'm hoping by then. So we should know, I would say for sure maybe by next week and the next week or two. So I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb and say September 28th. Don't quote me on that, but it'll definitely be end of September. So. Well,
that's great. Jennifer, it's been a blast talking with you and getting to know you. Love the band and can't wait to hear more. Can't wait to actually go out and see you guys live.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll see you September 18th or sometime soon.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, you can find Ignescent on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. And then also the website too. You can order your merch. So just kind of tell them again where they can go.
You can check out ignescentmusic.com. So IGNESCENT music.com. Check out our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's all at Ignescent Music. And then the link is in the bio of our Ignescent Music Instagram. And it has like the links to iTunes, our merch and all that. So you can check it out. But you can download it on iTunes, Remnant by Ignescent, Amazon Music. Go to Spotify and listen to Remnant by Ignescent.
And also check out their website too under tour dates. You can check out what they're doing in September. I know they start out in Iowa, head to Nebraska, through Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Arkansas again, and in Nashville at the 404 Bar and Grill, as well as Huntsville, Alabama. And later on in the month too, you can see them in Georgia, back in Tennessee, and Chattanooga, and Knoxville as well. Also Lexington, Kentucky, Indianapolis, and as she mentioned, Chicago, Illinois at Stop the Insanity Festival, the Festival of Hope. So check that out as well. Great talking with Jennifer. I'm Jay Scott. This is the Hook Rocks New Music Spotlight. Thanks for tuning in, and take care of each other. Thanks.